Tweed's Garage, or should I say welcome to Tweed's Tool Time, because we're going to review a new tool. Yes, haven't done one for a while, but a company reached out and I thought you might be interested. I only take stuff that I think you might be interested in. So we're going to have a look at a tool from DCA Tools. Yeah, I hadn't heard of them either, but I did a little research and they're quite a big concern back home where they come from. So yeah, what we're going to do is pop across the table and have a look at my new tool. I'm going to get it out and show it to you. Yeah, all right, brace yourselves. Here we go, over to the table. So I hadn't heard of DCA Tools, so I thought I'd have a little look up and see who they were. They're Jingsao Dongcheng power tools, and they've been going since 1996, for 30 years, and one of the, I think the biggest producer of power tools in China. I haven't heard of them much over here, so yeah, thought we'd have a little look as they sent it along, and they sent along one of their angle grinders, which, as you know, is in one of my top 10 useful tools in the workshop. So it comes nicely packaged in a box in its own injection molded case. Let me just get this out here. So here it is. It's the DCA ADSM06-125, 125 being the diameter of the discs that it's capable of taking. It comes in a cardboard sleeve, and inside that is a sturdy injection molded case, and then in the case you get angle grinder, instructions, 18 to 20 volt charger, 20 volt lithium battery. It was actually sort of 18 volt, it says 18 volt, 20 volt max on the label there. Yeah, like all my Makita stuff, that's all 18 volt. But when you take it off the charger, I have measured it with a meter. It is actually displaying 20.96, almost 21 volts at the moment off of the charger. And like some of the more modern batteries on power tools now, comes with a LED battery condition display. So when I got it, it was half charged. Took a couple of hours to get it up to full charge. So that's the battery, that's the charger, just a standard trickle charger with your green and red light, and then your symbols there for how the charge status is doing. Not a fast charger, because they'd be bigger and have a cooling fan on it because of the sort of increased current output. Comes with a few discs to get you going. So we've got a couple of flat discs, some flat ones there, slightly beveled ones there, and a couple of cut off wheels there. So yeah, we'll give them a go later, see what they're like. Spanner for securing your discs. Main tool itself. Yeah, nice weight to it. Most of the weight is concentrated at this end of the tool, mainly in the gearbox. Yeah, solid housing there, nicely machined nose and brushless motor. Not a lot in here, but it's sort of with the battery on. It's a bit nose heavy, but put the battery on and it's got, yeah, quite a nice balance to it. Actually, as comparison, I've got my old Makita, brushed Makita, very similar in weight. I think the Makita is 1.69 kilograms without the battery. This one's 1.63 without the battery, and then with the batteries, the Makita is 2.32 kilograms and the DCA is 2.38. So yeah, similar sort of balance. The Makita sort of the weight heft is in the middle. Yeah, this is lighter in the middle and the weight is at each end. But yes, a lot more slender in the body. And as you can see, yeah, the Makita is quite a grip to get your hand around to operate it. So this is quite nice with the, you can get a good grasp around the sort of neck of the angle grinder there, get a good grip on it. And then of course you get the handle that nobody seems to put on, or we do, but then we take them off. Goes on either side, and it's quite nice because this is a 10mm threaded bolt on here, whereas on all the other ones I've got it's an 8mm bolt, and on my DeWalt one, yeah, the bolt and handle just sheared off well, after a bit of vigorous use. And then a shield, a sort of two-part shield. It's got a clip-on lower dust shield that sort of fully encloses the disc underneath. You should imagine that's quite good when sort of, you know, cutting tiles and stuff like that, something that creates a lot of dust. Decent size securing nut for the disc, nice heavyweight securing nut, and then you've got your backing nut there with a slot in the back just like my Makita one to lock it home on the drive spindle. So that's that, we'll leave that off. I need to put the shield on. So the shield is a quick release shield, and drop it on that way, back to front, and there's a keyway there and a notch there, and it just drops on, and then you can secure it, you know, where you want it, or yeah, leave the grip a bit loose so you can sort of position it as you're working. So that works quite nice. I must admit the DeWalt and the Makita, these are quite a fidget to get these on and off, so that goes on quite nicely and spins around ready for work. Yeah, so clean machining. The only thing I would say, my only sort of little complaint, it's not so bad, but there's a bit of a sharp edge around there where they could have done, yeah, just a little slight chamfer on that edge there, just to take that very sharp machined edge off. But you know, nitpicking really. So let's pop a disc on it, get it ready for operation. I think the only thing is you have to take this guard off when you want to put a disc on. So yeah, I don't know how long that would stay on the grinder. I should imagine most of us will probably sling it away. I suppose you can get a disc on. Let's try it. Let's pop a cutting disc on. Oh yeah, you can get one in there. Don't know what I was fussing about. Put the nut on. And there's the locking button for the drive there. We can get in there, just nip it up. There we go. Ready to go. And then it's got, now same as my Makita, it's got a sort of push and rock down to lock down safety button on. So you push it like that, and as you can see, I really always struggled with this. It's always a blimmin' two-hand job. But then conveniently you can just sort of rest down and it switches off like that. But it's really tough. I do struggle with my thumb joints and that, trying to sort of turn that on and off. DCA one. You know, one thumb operation. So that's really good. One thing I have checked on the Makita is the RPM. The Makita runs at sort of 9,170. This is stated as running at 8,500 RPM. Yeah, 8,500 RPM. But we can check that. Okay, we'll check the speed on this. Coming up at sort of 7,500, so a bit sort of 1,000 RPM less than what they say on the spec, but not sure how they check that spec. So to be fair to DCA, I'm not sure what this RPM is, whether it's just RPM at the motor before a load, I don't know. But the DCA is labelled up at 8,500, measured it at 7,500. The Makita is 11,000, but I measured it at 9,170. And also to be fair to Makita, as you can see, it's had a dusty old life as well, so it's probably not running at its best. Another nice feature, it has removable filters on the air intake at the handle of the tool, which is useful. As you see, the Makita doesn't, and all the dust and crud does go through it, so it does protect it from larger particles of grit going through. And you just hook these out. If you know, if you haven't got compressed air to blow them out, you can just ease them off like that. Take them off, bang them out, pop them back in again. Not sure how long they'd last for, but yeah, you've got the option there to be able to clean them out, take them off and clean them out. But it all seems fairly solid and nicely put together, but we'll give it a little go. This is the charger sitting there waiting for the battery to go on, like all the other chargers. And once you plug your battery in, you know, it goes to red, start charging, and then gives you your flash codes when it's ready to remove and put on your power tool. So there you go, that's the DCA ADSM06-125. Yeah, there is quite a difference on the disc size there. Be interesting to see how it copes with cutting. One thing I did felt different to my Makita is when you turn it over to locate the locking pin to undo the nut to change the discs. It sort of sounded like it was jumping a gear. So I thought I'd investigate inside, just have a little look inside just to see what was going on. But actually, when you take the disc off and turn it over by your fingers, you can feel the gear meshing. I just think it's the amount of play and the amount of leverage you've got on the disc when you're turning it over. But I thought we'd have a look inside anyway, because it does say it's got metal gearing and that. So I thought we'd just have a little look inside, see what the quality was like inside. And sure enough, got a nice quality drive gear there, needle bearing in the end, and a nice metal spur gear on the end of the motor. Yeah, and it's literally, that noise is just the brushless motor sort of bouncing on the magnets, the magnetic force of the motor as you're turning it over, and it's just the gear chattering backwards and forwards, just the play, you know, coming through the blade as you turn it. But yeah, got a little gasket there, O-ring there, stop the dust getting in, needle roller bearing at the end, bearing in here. So all nice quality, comes apart and goes together very well. Right, let's put that back together. Battery back on. And it's got electric braking on it as well. And the other function it's got, I think like the Makita, if the blade jams and it stops, you have to turn it off and back on again before it will restart. And the same thing if it sort of stops and the switch is on, you take the battery off, plug the battery back in again, it won't restart until you reset the switch. When I've talked about angle grinders before, I prefer the battery ones sometimes because their RPM is slightly slower than a mains powered angle grinder. You have a little bit more control and they tend to be a little less destructive than their 240 volt brethren. But all in all, a nice little bit of kit and reasonable price. Yeah, and there'll be those that saying, yeah, it's made in China. Let me just show you something. This is my Makita, a few years old, made in China. And yeah, all the Americans jumping up and down. This is my Milwaukee socket driver, socket wrench, very good tool, made in China, and the battery made in China. So with the detail inspection out of the way, let's take it outside and try all the discs that came with it and just run it through its paces. Yeah? Right, let's pop outside. So that was the DCA ADSM06-125 being put through its paces. Now I used the discs that they supplied, cut-off discs, flat wheels, and yeah, they all performed really well. Cutting discs standing up well. They're the first things that you notice that yeah, if they're sort of really cheap, they just wear away instantly. So cut sort of more angle iron than you saw on the video, because I was sort of using it before I set up. And speed didn't drop down when you were cutting, didn't drop down when you were cleaning and grinding, stood up to it really well. It was a cold day, and at the end of about sort of, you know, grinding time, about sort of 7 to 8 minutes, it was down to sort of 50% on the battery, which if you've used battery powered angle grinders before in cold weather, yeah, they're quite heavy on the battery, so that seems quite reasonable. So yeah, seems like a nice, decent, solid bit of kit. So there you go. Hope you like that. Yeah, and if you did, I think there'll probably be a little link down below that you can go and click on and go and have a look if you want to. If you're not interested, that's fine. But if you like the video, give us a little like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time. You know, when it stops raining, we'll be doing something else. Maybe on the bikes, but if it don't stop raining, I might fiddle around with an old tool. You never know. All right, see you later. Well, in this video, we're going to review... Yeah, it hasn't been a while. It hasn't been a while. Tool time, tool tomb. Not very car. Ah, right, let's scrap that, scrap that.